Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for July 7th through 14th, 2025. Well, we sit here at a powerful gateway of 777 at 7725, and I'm sure you're feeling the shift of energies. We've been waiting a long time for things to turn in our favor to get out of the nightmare and into the dream. And so it does seem that there's major indications for this. This is because I think the energy we're feeling is the Uranus and Venus connection, that they came together on the 4th of July at 29 degrees of Taurus. This is so powerful because Venus is home sign of Taurus and Uranus has been there since 2018. Now, the whole energy from the very beginning, the insight, the energy, the messages coming through around Uranus and Taurus has to do with preparing humanity for the golden age. That what if our abundance, everything that's been stolen from us, is trying to be returned? Our energy, of course, first, and then also, trickles, also manifests, correlates into real world wealth. And so the energy is that in Uranus and Taurus is this kind of gatekeeper towards the energy of our higher self and our higher intuitive abilities. And so, are we ready? The ruler of Aquarius, that's saying that the Aquarian age is about breaking through the frequency fence, the firmament, the boundary, the psychic ceiling that's been put upon us. And so, this is the energy of Venus coming together because this Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus, which we're still feeling, Venus just moved over into Gemini on the 5th. And Uranus will move over to Gemini on the 8th. And so this is so powerful because it's that transition from Taurus to Gemini is about a permission for embodiment, right? Because Taurus is our self-worth for resources and love and happiness and safety and security. And so a culmination of that with Venus and Uranus, speaking of the feminine and higher power. So we've got full permission for feminine higher power. And now we're going to share it with the world. So the feminine higher power isn't men or women, right? We know that it's the intuitive side of all of us, Mother Earth, our body, what we have not been listening to and talking to, what we have not been communicating with, and then expecting to receive. And she says, I have so much for you, never ending amount of love and energy available for you right here, if you could just listen and pay attention. And when will the world stop and turn to us, the earth stewards, and begin to listen to the messages that need to come forth in order for us to come back into that communication? It's been so frustrating, Supernova souls, lifetime after lifetime coming here with your love and devotion, and nobody wants the incredible skills that you have worked lifetimes to come and offer. And this is coming to an end now. And so this is part of the deal of the messages coming through with this major transition of Uranus moving into the sign of Gemini, the expression of the feminine technology, the higher intuitive technology that has been suppressed, and that's us, Supernova souls. Whether you're in a female body or a male body, you are very empathic and intuitive and powerful. And so this is what everything has been about. This is a message coming through from her right now, that the trauma you're working through, because right now there seems to be an unraveling of trauma. To the point, and we have to understand that the trauma is the reason why it's so insidious in our energy field and in our body. And we have to remember that if it's in our body, it's in our energy field. So if there's hidden trauma that we don't know about, say we were something that happened to us very young, or maybe our memory was erased, it's still in our field, and all of this has got to be resolved. The duplicitous nature of this world and the lies and the deceit that this whole reality is based on, beginning to fall apart because supernova souls have had enough. You know, we've been in a process, it feels like, with the last few years of Uranus and the second part of Taurus, in this place of begging for our energy back, begging for our wealth back, understanding it's ours and it's been stolen, you know. And this is where the shift comes, that it's like no more begging, you know, and we don't need to ask permission. We just have to go take it back. But how do we do that, and what does that mean? That's what this time is about. So this energy of that the trauma that has been stored, and we know that trauma is a memory in the body. So this is no mistake that all mind control is trauma-based mind control. So as we unwind these traumas that we might not even know we experienced, or maybe we do know we experienced, and they could be past life energies too. But the trauma feels just as real because it's a memory. And this is what's been going on. I was just like, oh my gosh, supernova souls, to have to go through it and then re-experience it in this time. It's like the world, sometimes it gets so overwhelming understanding from a deeper perspective what's going on spiritually, and then a slap in the face to who we are and who we've been lifetime after lifetime, devoted to the most beautiful potential of physical human form to host spiritual light. And so this defilement that we're experiencing right now, and you can imagine this, the picture I literally saw, I think this was in the last activation, the Cancer New Moon activation. And this was ancient. This is old. This was in the past. But a picture of Earth being infiltrated by what the appearance, the symbol that came forward was a hypodermic needle. So this is the infiltration into that started in Atlantean time with the sons of Belial. We're experiencing it still today. And that they cannot chain the earth anymore. So they have to try to infiltrate our body with technologies and control mechanisms to keep us from claiming our awakening. But it's just not going to work, is it? See, I think this is the turning point that we're at. We're supernovas. It's time for us to just know in our heart, in our soul, just live. Like, stop trying to convince anyone. Of course, we gave up on that long ago. But you know, trying to explain or get people on the page with the vision, or validate or justify it. We just need to know energetically and feel the truth of the power of there's so much more to us. There's so much more to this experience, you know, and to stand and walk in that energy. So the message that's coming through from her about the trauma unwinding, that's literally unwinding like a knot. And it's and maybe the nanotech infiltration in our bodies is designed to keep us entwined in the trauma. Wouldn't that make sense? And so the energy is that whatever trauma you're experiencing, re-experiencing most likely, is connected to all trauma, in fact, connected to, for supernova souls, fear of our own power. Okay. So it's really powerful and to understand this, that when you find your place in the unraveling, that's what it really has to do with, you know. And there is a gumption, a power and energy of this Venus-Uranus conjunction, like, hey, no more gatekeepers on what is ours already. We're claiming back what's ours. You know, it's kind of like we've been waiting for Mother Earth to claim back her realm. But that's not actually her job. We are her warriors. We are her stewards. We are a part of her. And it is getting so intense with this experience. If you're feeling this, if you're living it, you're breathing with Mother Earth, and you can feel in your body, like literally the collective consciousness of the earth being respond to what you do for self-care. And so we're having this incredible opportunity to stand in this truth of knowing that as her stewards and as a part of our bodies, her body, that is just the way it is for us that came through in this way, this time, in this evolution. We have rightful claim on all the resources, all of it. Everything that's hers is ours. And wouldn't it make sense then? You, the 1%. Of this advanced, beautiful, pure love soul that somehow made it through all of this, to be the ones to disseminate back the wealth to the people. And so this is what's happening, and it's a major, major turnaround. That's part of the message that's coming through too. It's like, you can feel this, it's nothing can stop it, right? Eventually it's got you can feel we're getting to a place of no return. And so by feeling this and knowing this, but also she says, nothing can stop it. It's inevitable, this awakening, right? But you might have to go a roundabout way in these energies. And it's like, so this is an interesting thing because, a lot of supernova souls are feeling really targeted and harassed. And I have to tell you that that's actually completely accurate. And a lot of people don't even realize, a lot of supernova souls may be beating themselves up for their life not working out and having no idea the level of manipulation they're experiencing on this technological level, psychological level, spiritual level, physical level. But we really need to understand this unraveling of the trauma, okay? Because it's kind of like unraveling of the planetary trauma is unraveling trauma timelines that haven't yet been resolved. So that's why it's so important that we can stand and unravel the trauma. And I know supernova souls have been going through it like so extreme. And I am so sorry for any pain, the suffering that you might be experiencing right now. But we've got to start looking at it in a different way. If we're unraveling trauma timelines, so this is kind of the picture. Have you noticed that we'll have this achievement energetically and you're like, oh yeah. And then it's like chutes and ladders. It'll be like, shoo, back into a lower timeline. And I don't know if it corresponds, but maybe you guys have noticed a weird thing where sometimes it just feels like the world around you outside in the world will just be still and no people. It's almost like, did we jump timelines and then we bring them with us? And so we're kind of resolving all these timelines, one after another, of these forgotten, lost, hidden timelines. Because we're these multi-dimensional creature beings that can jump around and do this stuff. No wonder we've been so hassled, And so just keep this in mind, because she says that if this is the case, that we're basically, by unraveling our own trauma, and we're processing trauma for the collective, how we are the garbage collectors, but this is shifting and changing, right? And so we're leveling up these timelines, right? Like go down, leveling up. Now, we've heard this mythology story about the earth going to shit and then advanced souls needing to come in and save their friends because they got trapped here, right? And then those friends came in and got trapped here, And so this might be the way we're working around this and resolving these timelines. But she says, if this is true, if this resonates, then you could kind of entertain the possibility that the lowest denominator timeline, soon coming up, like what we're doing, is going to feel fabulous. The lowest possibility timeline that might still be available beside our optimal timeline is going to feel so much better than what we've been experiencing. So just keep leveling up. Just keep leveling up and understand that you're working on the whole consciousness. And that's why we keep getting knocked down, because we are creators, co-creators. We're projectors of reality, which is why they want the whole world, but mostly for us, because the non-player characters, the soulless beings, they're not affected by all these messages, but they're saying all of this information coming at us to a narrative and story and issue and trauma and problem. And it's like, we're just so overwhelmed with all of this information. But it's designed not just, I mean, so it's designed to keep us in that trauma state or emotional state so they can feed on our power. That's a luge. They like use it for food. And so that's going on. But there's this energy of understanding that we need to start putting forward. So as you start to come back into your co-creator status and your abilities and your intuitive abilities, you're going to put out garbage, because we have been filled with subconscious garbage, right? And that's where they want us at that place to be so scared of our creations. But it's like, that's what we're working through right now. You can't find that subconscious stuff until it comes out to the surface. And so we're kind of like working through all of this, but understanding that the targeting or whatever harassment type of energies you feel like you're experiencing, because remember, this is a matrix-based system. It's a computer AI system. It feels like it's actually people, and there might be people involved at lower levels executing, this targeting type of stuff, but it's computer simulated model. And so one of the things they say is that it's really helpful because we're coming back to this energy of stagnancy. So the energy that the whole thing about holding back our evolution is to create this like stagnancy by disconnecting us from mana, from mother, from the food of life, from the ability to care and be cared for and taken care of by this earth. And so we have to understand how powerful it is, our ability to project. But we go to project our reality, and what comes forward is our subconscious garbage, the trauma, the fear, the everything. And so then that's where the power of coming into that connection with the mother, because we are on her optimal timeline then, and we don't have to worry about miscreating, and we can move forward with projecting our reality. If we could just be in the dream, the energy of whatever mother's garden means to you, whatever this earth in its full flowering potential, you in your full flowering potential, like this, your city, your state, your town, and your full flowering potential, that energy is, if we could just hold on to it, a group of us, for a certain amount of time and really feel it. I mean, it's done, it's created, and I guess maybe that's her message around that it's inevitable, nothing can stop it, but you kind of got to go, you might have to go a roundabout way. So they say if you're experiencing this type of targeting, one of the things that's really important to get out of the stagnancy is to switch up your routine, do things differently, and this is kind of what she's saying. She's like, get roundabout. So the message is, now we're coming into a weird time because Mercury is in retrograde shadow now, and Neptune turned retrograde on the 5th, and Saturn will turn retrograde on the 13th. And they're right there at the beginning of Aries, trying to start this new timeline, but turning retrograde. So it's kind of like we're put on pause. And then Mercury turns retrograde on the 18th. And so it's like, wah, 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 But on the other hand, we know that we've just gone through this massive square and these major game-changing energies, and we might need to recapitulate and recover and adjust. So this whole rest of the year we've gotten as an adjustment period because of what just happened with that square. But she says, don't stop. Okay, so this is an interesting thing because she says, go ahead and stop for mindful presence. So if you're going to be still in mindful presence in that energy of the dream that we're here to visualize and create and have created. But otherwise, just keep moving because of this. Like, so much of what's targeted the whole world, but supernovas in general, is this stagnancy energy. It's almost like abduction in time, where it's a feeling where you are completely disconnected to outside reality and your life isn't moving at all. Every day is the same day and nothing's ever happening, and so that like Groundhog Day feeling. And we're all having to choose and use the power of our will to overcome this malaise, this boredom, this disconnection. It's like, so we have to kind of engage our will during this time of retrograde, not in a pushing forward in that kind of got to make it happen and masculine kind of way, but that we just keep moving and in a prayer that that we see now. We're not going to buy into the gaslighting that says that we are stopping, that astrology and time stops. Everything is moving, and then we go back to the timeline leveling up. Like, so it's almost like we've been abducted and reset back again and again. And so now those timelines are fragments and they have to be reintegrated. And that's what we've been working on. And so in each of those timelines, perhaps you had a traumatic experience or something, you were connected to what happened and the trauma. And so you can understand and have compassion and hold these souls in your heart while these trauma timelines are untangled. And then I saw a picture of these people who were there and that you may have been experiencing or witnessing the trauma of a group of people and being a part of it. Of course, feeling responsible as a supernova soul, but those same souls are with you right now. Like, they're your followers. They might not have found you, but they want to come and work on a project with you. Like, it's already written. We have to understand this is already written. They just tried to erase it. They tried to erase you and your story, and they erased by erasing our history and reset after reset. So this is a lot of the energy that's coming up. We talked about the garbage in our subconscious coming out as we step into our co-creator status. And then she says, hey, every trauma is connected to fear of your own power. Every trauma. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the targeting feeling that a lot of people are having, and just like everything's working against you. But they can't seem to exterminate us. And this is the strange thing for supernova souls, having this awareness of being killed lifetime after lifetime and then making it to a certain age, this time, and being like, So they can't, we've overcome karmically. We cannot be killed for who we are anymore. And so we just kind of sit here and wait and take a bunch of torture, But I know it just feels like that. But think about it, because we know that Mars retrograde in Leo that started the energy of it in October. It was December and January, February, really intense initiation at the beginning degrees, end of Cancer, beginning degrees of Leo, coming back to Mother, so we have permission to shine our light in the world. And so, but that was, Mars only went to 6 degrees, and now Mercury is about to take a retrograde, and Mercury will retrograde back to 4 degrees. So their retrograde pathways have a 2-degree overlap. And it's so powerful because it's saying, like, here's the next chapter of the story of why and how we overcome, why we haven't been able to shine our light, express our truth, our full potential, and how we overcome that. That's what this Mercury retrograde is. So it's so big for supernova souls. It's like, yeah, kind of couple slow months, but it's because you got to get your butt in gear. You got to get serious about this, right? Like, start taking yourself seriously. Nobody in this world is taking you seriously. And maybe that's the energy of this Capricorn full moon that's coming up this week on the 11th. The 10th, Thursday, July 10th, and the activation will also be at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Thursday, July 10th. This Capricorn full moon is really intense on the heels of Venus, Uranus together at the end degrees of Taurus and moving into Gemini. because it's saying that if we have a voice, we are no longer subjected to external authority. If we express our gifts and light, we're free. That is our abundance. So we have to kind of take a step back on all this targeting and weird stuff we've been going through and how it's like just feeling so beaten down. Because it's like I can see that supernova souls have overcome, and that's the owning your energetic field course, so powerful, and feeling that you can set your energy in your field. Your field is your property. And it's so awesome. But it's like you'll do that work and attain, and then you get attacked again, on a new level. And it's like maybe that timeline leveling up, maybe it's a clearing of the trauma and all that. But think about this. If Mercury is retrograde is about taking us to the next level of being able to show and express our light, our visionary leadership abilities in this life. We know supernova souls, reluctant leaders. Then we have to look at this next chapter of why we haven't been able to express our light. And it's powerful that Mercury has 3 squares with Black Moon Lilith, and we're feeling one today. The first square with Black Moon Lilith and Mercury, Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio, Mercury and Leo, happens today, exact, and then it'll happen again in a week or so, and then at the end of the month. At the end of March, actually. March, at the end of August. We're really jumping around here. So the end of August, August 26th is the third and final Mercury square Black Moon Lilith. And that's a big marker for us, to really take this time to examine why we're not expressing ourselves more, and maybe coming to terms with the fact of how much we've been suppressed and how much we've been messed with in this life that we don't realize and haven't realized, and feeling the grief of it, but been picking up and moving on, right? Keeping going. She says, we got to keep going. And so that's powerful because the Mercury square Black Moon Lilith is extracting out the shadow stuff we're talking about, which has to do with fear of our own power, because Black Moon Lilith is deep, dark secrets, often connected with the feminine. And the feminine, like we said, is that higher advanced technologies in the free energy technologies and the higher technologies we've worked with in our own energy field. So it's again a confirmation, and maybe why we're seeing this so clearly right now. The trauma we've experienced, any trauma, is about fear of our own power. So maybe we should just work on that instead of just getting stuck in the trauma loop and the trauma body. So many people trying to heal trauma are actually just like stuck in the soup of trauma. It's so hard to get out of it. And that's where our will force comes in, that we've got to connect with our I am and with that God-given power inside of us. And we cannot stop till we do. See, we didn't come here. We can't go into the Aquarian age without graduating into being responsible for our own creations. That's kind of the definition. So we're getting hazed, like majorly hazed, and this is powerful because if you can, it's always helpful to get that bigger intuitive perspective. And then we don't have to take it so personally. You don't have to be so stuck in the woundedness, and just realize that every single light soul that came to earth was targeted and persecuted through this Kali Yuga time, the dark age that we're just coming out of. So, but if we're talking about this and this Mercury retrograde and the Mars retrograde preparing us, saying that everything's a preparation. What if the targeting is a preparation? Going back to Uranus and Taurus, we got the message from the beginning that humanity had to be prepared to receive the abundance. And so is the targeting about on some level? See, this is what's really, really important right now, and it's so hard, so uncomfortable. But the whole world's got to do it for us to get out of the illusion of separation, is to be able to turn our thinking around completely opposite, to entertain the complete opposite or the alternate thing, right? And so, yes, the targeting is really trying in so many ways to stop us from, with literal as an infant, implants to keep our machinery, our glandular system from working. I mean, the infiltration we've gone through is just insane. It's real. On the other hand, it's happening within the play of the one, and there's got to be a boomerang effect. There's got to be a bigger thing, you know. And so here we are stepping on the edge of us as advanced souls, you know, being told we're on the cutting edge of spiritual ascension. We're on the verge of moving into the Aquarian age. We're here to lead the way, supposedly, and we're scared to death of our own power. So we've been doing so much work on this, right? SuperNovas, every time we do an event and clearings and healings, you know, but this is a whole new level of understanding about it, okay? Because the message from her is that if you are really fully prepared, SuperNova, on all levels, prepared. Now, because we know that what you really want to work with in this life and your true power, your true skills, like it's not what you learned here. It's not what you went to college for. It's not all those degrees and certificates on your wall. It's past life skills and gifts. So the preparation is not in this world, you know. I mean, it is, but it's energetic preparation. And so if you are fully and truly on all levels prepared and ready to step into the full abundance of your expression, the expression of your full abundance, maybe, you are free. So we have to individually get to the place where we're like, I am free. You know, because as long as you're not prepared, as long as you're scared of your own power, as long as the subconscious programming is still informing your reality, then you're not free. We're not free. And so we claim freedom by claiming our full expression. And so we have been getting our butts kicked for sure, SuperNova souls. But now it's the ultimate butt kicking to get you out the door and out of the nest. And it's like going from moments of bliss to excruciating pain. And it's okay. It's not going to last very long. But she wants you to take those moments of bliss where she says, go ahead, just try to keep moving. And if you do want to be still in the image of me, in the dream of me, you know? And so in that stillness, she's wishing that we could just open up our crown, just pry it open and receive the mana, to just feel really good for no reason. Okay, this is where we've got to get to, because we think we're going to feel good just as humans, you know, and so supernova souls, you know, it's like, well, when I have that better card and I find my community and I and better job and I figured this out and I'm going to feel so much better. And she says, stop and feel better. The energies are finally shifting, and it's a moment of like, it's like going back and forth between excruciating clamping and squeezing and blocking and quarantine to ecstatic bliss. And she says, take those moments of ecstatic bliss, and this is what it means to exist, right? She wants us to be still in the existence of how good it feels to simply exist. And so these are the messages that I'm going through. I guess we should talk about some astrology, huh? So the main thing is this slowing down energy, but this Mercury retrograde is absolutely crucial for us supernova souls to get to this place of feeling prepared. Nobody's going to come along and say, oh, you're prepared, you get to go now. No, we decide we're prepared. That's the free will universe, and the pressure's on. And so any butt kicking over this next couple of weeks is your own butt kicking. Apparently, if we could see it that way, like, because I'm not fully prepared. This is preparing me because I've got this amazing future where I get to disseminate the abundance of this world to the people. Finally, take care. It's going to feel so freaking good. And that's the energy she wants us to be into, in the absolute truth of the abundance of who we are. It's energetic abundance first, and then it's physical. And so we have been making this place energetically abundant, and the wealth is like, come on, the chokehold. We're not going to allow the evil, we can't play host to the evil entities and let them take all our resources and power anymore. And that's exactly what the battle has been in our very own bodies. I know it's knock down, drag out, and thank God that you didn't give up, and that you're here right now. You made it. We all made it. We are all here. And there, maybe if that invincible power of being a supernova, making it through all you made it through, is what we need to get over this final hump, But the shift is being like feeling so inundated with artificial, like AI matrix targeting, but then the shift into like, oh no, this is my spiritual initiation. Like I'm taking charge of this. And I'm like relishing in the power of being like, set my field. Just like it's like we're so scared of our own power that we haven't been able to access it to protect ourselves, right? And we're just infiltrated, breached again and again, in our energy field. Our energy field is so powerful. It is more powerful than our physical body, more real. And this is the travesty that's occurring, is that we are not being told about the level of technology that's available and to access the energy field of a human being through technology, a handheld device that could be used for miracle cures if you look at the research, but I'm not seeing any miracle cures, but I see a lot of targeting. And so that is so incredible, such a violation and such a slap in the face to us who have worked on this pristine, most beautiful form. But it doesn't matter because it's technology and it has no actual power. We can dematerialize it and turn off the plug, unplug it. No unplugging this. That's why they want to suck us dry so we don't know we have it. We are the organic ones in the body. This came through the Iger Casey readings, You have the power. You are the highest authority because you have the body. See why they want to infiltrate our body to steal our soul and to try to corrupt our heart, our love. We know, it has been. Now, even though it's still censored and we're not allowed to talk about it, there has been validation from the organization with C's and D's in it that says that there is now a warning, that this infiltration, this medical violation that started back in 2020, is directly linked to heart issues. Of course, we have all kinds of new names for heart issues, don't we? And maybe we need to just stop and be like, wait, why are you going after the heart? Why? What's up with the heart? Because we're like, we're dealing with fluoride and toxicity and heavy metals and in our brain. We can't get our pineal gland to work. We got to clean our pineal gland. You can have all that shit perfectly running up there, but your heart is what allows you to co-create. And so we need to pay special attention to the power of the toroidal field created in our heart. It's 4-chamber system. There is sacred understanding available, but it's almost like to talk to Mother Earth, if our body's her body, she has a heart. Where's her heart that creates the heartbeat of the resonance of the frequencies, the electromagnetic field of Earth? Because we've been told that if we connect with her in our heart, it fortifies our electromagnetic field. And then we got the exact mirror information that us like breathing and growing, feeding our electromagnetic field fortifies the Earth's electromagnetic field. Is there an attack on the heart of the Earth? Where is it? Because it's our heartbeat in our body that creates the toroidal field, which is separate from our aura, And this toroidal field can be activated. It's a technology. It's like a crystal. And this is the biggest thing they don't want us to know or do. In my naivety, I put on a music festival in 2014. Here we are, 11 years later. And I thought, well, let's have an activation ceremony. Wouldn't that be so fun? And we'll get together and we'll activate our light bodies and we'll have these spiritual teachers come. Then we'll have a really fun music festival. And the forces that came out against that just blew me away in my life. I've never gotten it back since. And this is the biggest threat. And I just didn't realize, and I called it portal, not understanding that there's actual portals of like, this is how we can travel through and dimensions, and the heart's a portal. And we need to go into the portal of the heart of Mother Earth. And I think that's what we're doing when we connect with her. And so it's like, you could maybe see it in the real picture of the geometry of it, Unfortunately, a lot of the light body Merkaba activation information we've gotten is incorrect and the wrong geometry. That's a trap, that recirculates instead of grows. The wrong sequence of numbers. And so, so much information has been hidden from us by giving us a whole bunch of information and then twisting one part of it so that we can never use it in the right way, like the Bible. And all of this needs to be reconciled because nothing can be hidden anymore. See, once you live in a surveillance state where they own your biometrics and your energy field and your biology, and then we don't we're at a place where we need to resolve these things. We need to have the full truth come out about the technologies that have been stolen from us, and now they're being used against us. They will continue to be used against us until we take them back. But we know Mom's taking them back. She wants to. She says, no, no more harm. No more. We're not going to use technologies for harm. No more deliberate harm. The Earth will not host this anymore. And then it's like, why could it ever have hosted it? Were we abducted from our organic Earth in order to be in a simulation that could host the demons? Because the Edgar Cayce readings, it said to deal with ghosts, bring one plant into the room. One plant, And then the ancient understandings of these technologies that have been buried and hidden, like the bells, right? So I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad we came back to it because we're talking about the effect of this technology in our energetic field. For you, sensitive supernova soul, it's like a hammer. And it's like a hammer, hammer, hammer message. This is why the back of our head often hurts. It's our hypothalamus gland. And we talk about clearing and healing all this in the Owning Your Energetic Field course. But this is all this stimulation we're getting, creating complete overload from information, vibrations, and frequencies from the technologies deliberately pointed at us, directed energy weapons at us, But the energy of this is like, perhaps it has to do with this fear of our own power, in this case, a shame of our own power, that we are willing to be tortured with our own technology, that we think that that's karmically appropriate. But the energy field, in order to affect anything in your physical body or your energy, your hypothalamus, it's like they have to have access to our energy field. And so by fortifying our energy field, we're completely able to protect ourselves. And it's so powerful to know this. And to feel that, and to feel that you can walk forward in that full protection. So the message is that you've been broken, in your field, and the trauma and the skew and the weird stuff that's happened to us. It's like we're fractured and broken. We're not whole and complete. And then we're getting hammered in our field again and again with really intense, strong messages that are too much for us, And so she says, boom, can you pop out your field and be a bell? Right? Because she says, because often Mother, this message of like, she wants all frequencies to be healing frequencies. She wants all the towers to turn to Tesla towers and grow the garden, right? And so it's like, can we do that? Like if we have a fortified field in our energy body, our light body, and our fortified field, and then when these attacks come, they ring us like a bell. Now you have to understand about the old bells, the old world bells, huge, big bells, and the bells would resonate at certain frequencies and clear demonic energies, ghosts, like psychic clearing. And then they confiscated all the bells to make ammunition in World War II. So we are the advanced technology, like that we are those Tartarian bells. Like we have this all inside of us. We've lived in these advanced cultures. This is why they cannot dupe us this time. Not us, supernovas. Because we've already had the garden, we already had the technologies, and we've already had our full expression in bodies on Earth in this evolution. And we're back saying, time to pay the piper. You're going to steal our resources again and again, our history, our timeline, our energy, and not think that there's ever going to be a reconciliation. But those forces, like we know, are designed through the one to work against us, to be our perfect resistance so that we can overcome. And what's happening, if you see this, is the whole world is magnetic. Gravity is not gravity. Gravity is magnetism. The sun and the moon, the planets, held into place by magnetism. We are magnetism. And so we can overcome through magnetism and take this into a whole new level. But that information has been hidden from us. And so we've got to have this reconciliation. The time has come. We're not going to back down. There's too many of us. And we're too prepared, aren't we? Or we will be in a few weeks after this Mercury retrograde. Okay, so the Mercury retrograde starts not till the 18th, but Mercury went into shadow on the 30th of June. And then, so retrograde on July 18th, and that's after Neptune, Saturn. So it's just going to feel like stuck in the mud, But Mercury is in Leo, and so we know it's about our light and coming into this confidence, right? Knowing that we're fully prepared. So then turning retrograde on the 18th, direct on August 11th. And like I said, 3 squares with Black Moon Lilith, uncovering that hidden darkness that's keeping us from shining our light. Like literally, I feel like that trauma unwinding, I could feel the energy of this story of Atlantean catastrophes and literally the like being under the rubble. But I wonder about this because advanced souls have an ability to transmute. I'm sure you've experienced this. This is why people like us around, even though they like to abuse us, because we're transmuters of energy. And you can literally take on the disease energy, the emotions, the psychic energies of other people and transmute them for them. I don't think that's the best use of our time and energy, but I think we've been doing this for the collective, whether we realize it or not. So a lot of the symptoms of targeting is what the whole earth needs to heal. And you are a miracle. And can we just be in that? That like we had to go through this so we could know we were the miracles. We could step forward as the miracles. So we could own it and be like, oh yeah, like I'm not apologizing. Not my light is no longer it's not you can I'm not going to buy the story that my light expression is taking away from anything of anybody else's. We live in an abundant universe and we're here to demonstrate it. And if you are not on board with that, get out of the way. And that's the energy of magnetism. We'll get back to this thought that was escaped, which means it's really important. It's like the forces have been coming at us with the black cube Saturn, everything working against who we are and trying to further the evolution by keeping that stagnancy. And giving us the illusion that things don't change and move by cycles and cycles of history and time. But what's happening is that in this magnetic pole shift, we are the pole shift, those forces that have been working against us, we're like pushing against, and it's like, and just like a magnet, like when you flip poles on a magnet, pushing behind you. So those forces that were working against you, working against consciousness, working against enlightenment, working against Mother Earth, are now working for Mother Earth, for enlightenment, for consciousness. Okay? Because there is an energy that there's a lot of minion energies, like we're talking about the AI system and minions and non-souled people that are kind of playing out all of this stuff. But all of the energies that are playing out the narratives of the dark side are actually slaves. So they're not attached to the narrative. They don't want to, they might want to work for Mother again, So it's a very interesting energy where that the resistance energy, it's like the army of minions of resistance is now going to get behind the true cause, the true first cause, the true womb of the mother, that like why we all exist. And so that's really powerful. This is really powerful time. Now, the first, like I said, square with Black Moon Lilith is on today, the 7th. And then it comes up again on the 25th and 26th of July. And then the third one is going to be the 26th. Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow on August 25th. And so that's when we're going to be really like, wouldn't it be cool to be like, let me go from this place where we're like, get out of my way, this is frustrating, just let me live my life and do my thing, to be like, oh my God, it's time, I'm not ready, and then to like really feel prepared and ready, in 5 weeks, 7 weeks, right? 5 to 7 weeks. So this is the Mercury retrograde kind of timetable there. And so, but Black Moon Lilith, our deepest, darkest secrets, and Scorpio, which is the deepest, darkest hidden stuff, is really wants to reveal the truth. Like she can't hold it anymore. Like, right? It's almost like maybe Mother, right? She's got all the records. She knows all the things. It's all been recorded in her energy field, just like our Akashic records, our personal records are in our field. Everything that's happened on Earth is on her field, and she's about to spill the beans. But can she do it? Like, can she free the Earth? Or does she need us as her army? And is it up to us to spill the beans on all these lies? And so we'll see about that. And it's not like we even have to talk about the lies. We just have to show up in the truth. So the other transit that's happening for Mercury is an opposition with Pluto. That happened on the 30th when Mercury June 30th, when Mercury went into retrograde shadow, really intense standoff. And it's saying, okay, this Mercury retrograde is for sure about how to step into our co-creative power, because we have Pluto at 3 degrees. And actually, Pluto's moving to 2 degrees tomorrow on the 8th, July 8th. So it's a huge move for Pluto to be going back to 2 degrees. And it's like Pluto only making it to 3, but 3 is a number of co-creation and taking the parts and making more. And so it's saying, why can't we move into our co-creative power in the Aquarian Age? Oh, we're not shining our light. We're not telling the truth. And so that's what this is about. Now, when Mercury goes back and turns direct in August, that will mean that Mercury will be 2 degrees away, another 2. This whole story is about twos. Everything's twos, and 2 degrees away um, from Pluto when Mercury turns direct at 4 degrees, and Pluto will be at 2. So it's like a meeting, it's a conjunction, but it's kind of like Pluto has no power over the light anymore, right? Like the light has achieved victory. The light has overcome and is prepared to shine, right? See, if we have any shame and we have any low self-worth and we have any fear of our own power, we're not prepared. So it's got to all come up. And that is the deal with this. So it's a pretty interesting energy. And the other thing we're feeling, of course, is that Mercury or Venus and Uranus, Venus just moved over into Gemini, the voice of the feminine, like ready to be heard again, a higher intuitive voice of the feminine with Uranus joining into Gemini. Now, Uranus is going to transit back into Taurus later in the year, just like Saturn's going back to Pisces, Neptune's going back to Pisces. So we're teetering on the edge, right? Of the old paradigm and the new paradigm. And, but this is a huge breath of air for the voice of the feminine, the intuition, the listening, in all of us, right? But listening to our emotions, listening to our intuition, and getting back into alignment with what really matters, becoming the warriors that we are for her again. And so that is really powerful. Now, Venus, as Venus is now in Gemini, Venus will be making a trine with Pluto. That's also today, tomorrow, the 8th, and we'll feel that for the next couple of days. And so it's saying, yeah, it's the feminine expression, the expression of female creative higher power that moves this whole thing forward. And it's cool that Uranus will be coming into trine with Pluto too. And actually, they're already in trine. But that's a really powerful energy. And what's happening, I should talk about, this is going to be happening in August, September, and October, is that we have a kite shape happening in the sky forming, and we're already starting to feel this. So the top 3 parts of the kite, which it's like a Charlie Brown kite, and so a diamond shape. And so the top is 2 sextiles and then a grand trine for the body. And in this case, it's going to be a grand air trine, which is speaking of this new renaissance, to this communication, to the bells, the vibration, the frequency coming back into our world, and the messages to the truth and the healing of the feminine voice that's been suppressed, the scrolls, Mary Magdalene. We need to know about her. And so it's so powerful that this is like all year long, because we've got this, all this intensity of this recent square, but it's saying, hey, this is about lifting up. This is about putting the pieces together. This is about transforming into something new and different, taking the parts of ourselves and lifting up into a whole new reality. That's the kite. The kite is disparate parts of ourselves from past lives that we haven't been able to reintegrate when it's in your birth chart. So that's kind of the energy of putting our pieces back together, maybe the fragmented soul self that was stuck in all these different trauma timelines, so that we could re-up and level up all these different timelines. Is that why we were fractured and like operating without all our cylinders? But now it's time to be whole and complete. And is that this Mercury retrograde? Is this when supernova souls land home fully and completely as who they are? It seems to be the message. So the kite shape is taking form, and part of the kite shape is that trine between Pluto and Uranus. So Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius. And then when the planets move through the sign of Libra, Mars, and then Mercury, and then Venus. Mars in August, Mercury in September, Venus in October, it'll be making a kite shape in the sky. With those oppositions. So the top of the kite is Neptune, but also Saturn, because Saturn and Neptune are kind of moving together as they transit back into the sign of Pisces. Powerful that they turn retrograde with just, a week apart here. And we're feeling that, because it doesn't just mean they're turning retrograde. It means they're going back into the end degrees of Pisces. We have to rehash Kali Yuga again. Like, aren't we done with this? But are you fully prepared? If you're not fully prepared, why don't you, you don't know what to do. Why don't you stop in the stillness and feel the good feeling? Feel good for existing, she says. And so that trine with Uranus and Pluto will be going on for the whole, basically we'll feel it from already the end of June through the end of December. And it's so beautiful because this kite shape comes and forms around this. And so the grand air trine and then Neptune at the top of the kite and Saturn. So Saturn and Neptune for these kites will be between 29 degrees of Pisces and 0 degrees and 1 degree of Aries, dancing around 0, 1, 29. And so when Saturn goes back into Pisces, so it's so cool because after these kites, then we move into a powerful grand water trine, and that will be Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn back in Pisces, and Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So it's harmonized. It's saying Jupiter, Saturn just had a square, but they're going to trine up with Black Moon Lilith and the water shines, and it's going to harmonize everything. And because there are some really intense squares in the second week of October. And so we're going to be feeling, it's like, but we're also have all of this harmonious, the kite lifting us up and the grand water trine harmonizing this massive shift, telling us that yes. And then how powerful in 2026 to have Saturn move back into Aries, Neptune move back into Aries, and Uranus move back into Gemini. So, and then we can fly the kite. The new timeline, optimal reality. We're claiming it. We're owning it. It's ours. Nothing can stop it. We might have to go a roundabout way to get there, but just keep going roundabout. This is the message, she says. If you feel an obstacle, because as we're working out the Saturn, black cube, the obstacle in the matrix programming that is specifically designed through a computer simulation program to harass and hassle you in your daily life, but she's like, oh, well, just go a roundabout. Because sometimes when you go a roundabout, you get to pray for a longer time, or you get to meditate, or you get to see something, or you get to connect with somebody. So she's like, take back time. Right? It's time for us to arrive here on Earth. Take back time. We made it. We're here. We're right here. Everybody's here. And be so present in that and just so owning it. But maybe keep moving and keep in the flow. And yeah, there's going to be obstacles, and turn around. So we're coming up on this Capricorn full moon, which is about these obstacles. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and this Capricorn full moon at 18 degrees, 50 minutes of Capricorn is this marker. Like, okay, we have conceded again and again, even if we didn't realize we were doing it, to external authority around our spiritual growth. Now, if we're going to get rid of that external authority, then we better have our own authority. So that's what the Capricorn full moon is about. And it's powerful because the Chiron is at 26 degrees. We'll be at 27 degrees on the 11th. Okay, so we'll still be at 26 for this full moon. And the moon will be going right into a square with Chiron after the full moon. And then the sun will be moving into that square. So we'll feel the moon in square on probably the 11th, and then the sun comes into its exact square not till the 20th, but we start feeling that around the 15th or 17th. And that's really powerful because this is this kind of like, okay, so we know we've been under false authority and we have to claim our own authority. Now we feel ready to claim. Now we claim it. Now we take it. We're not asking for it back anymore. That's that sun square Chiron. Woo! Very powerful energies. Now, right after that, as the sun gets ready to move into the sign of Leo, then we are going to be feeling both. Seems really important in everything we're talking about. Venus and Mars will be interacting with the nodes of the moon. Venus and Mars are coming into their square. And it's a really powerful energy because Venus, we know that the whole key to everything is to overcome the opposites, to overcome the delusion of separation, to use the energy of the scalar wave that's created by opposition, the masculine and the feminine in perfect balance. And that creates an energy source. So this is kind of the energy that it's like, typically Venus square Mars is a power struggle between the feminine and the masculine. But the way this is playing out is so wild because first Mars will come into conjunction with the South Node. That'll be on the 21st of July. And then on the 22nd, Venus squares the nodes, right? So Venus is in Gemini and Mars is in Virgo. So it's very powerful too, because these are immutable signs. So the square is an adjustment. Mutable signs are adjusters. So we know we need an adjustment in the power struggle. So the adjustment of the power struggle has to do with the timeline. And the South Node, North Node, South Node is like, how are we going to get to where we're going and what's holding us back karmically from the past? So this is a leveling up. This is the masculine and the feminine coming to each other, saying, what's going on over here? And then, other ones saying, what's going on over here? Maybe we should both level up and come back and work together and honor the gifts of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, and heal the wounds that we've all inflicted upon each other. We've been men and women. We've all played the roles of the asshole man and the manipulative woman. So this is where we work this out. And so then on the 23rd through the 25th is when Venus square Mars is exact. And that will be right when the sun moves over into Leo. And that's really powerful. And because we're going to be having an activation into the Mercury retrograde energies at that point, Mercury will be just starting that retrograde. So the thing is that this interaction with the nodes of the moon happens at 20 degrees, but just as the nodes of the moon are about to move to 19 degrees. So this interaction with Mars and Venus at 19 degrees and the nodes of the moon, 19 is a number of the highest authority. It's the king. It's the highest authority. It's an undisputable authority. It's the ruler of the land that everybody recognizes should be the ruler of the land. Both Venus and Mars at 19 and interacting with the nodes is saying it's time for victory through equal power, right? So it's like once the powers are equal, exactly, then it's a beautiful dance, and we're out of the battle, like no more war. It's the end of war. That's Saturn right there in the astrology. And so that's a very powerful time and really intense squares, and kind of like this place of like, who am I? Where am I going? What's holding me back from the past? A real reconciliation. But we're not going to be able to really receive that reconciliation and have clarity in moving forward in new ways until the Mercury retrograde resolves a month later in August, right? So this next couple months, 6-7 weeks, just know that it is a rehash of anything that's keeping you from being fully prepared to step into your massive abundance that's coming. And what if that was all the problem the whole time? That all of this, all of the things that we've gone through is just about trying to keep you in an agenda to trigger you, to program you from these Atlantean catastrophes to be scared of your own power, to never step into that place where you can protect yourself, or where, because you would never want to do harm, right? So if you come into your power, you could do harm. So you're never going to come into your power. And we have to know that when we're in alignment with Mother, we cannot miscreate. And so, but understand that as you come into your power, you're going to have little instances where you see the effect of your actions, and you might feel that you need to temper yourself. Like that's part of what we're doing. Like, whoa, it's like we have to learn how to work this machinery that was stolen from us, and now it's being returned. We're taking it back, but it's been a few eons or lifetimes since we've been in that particular suit. We've been in this suit for a while, but that suit, our space suit, our Merkaba light body suit, we got to figure out how to work that shit. So this is what's going on. And so we've got that intense square, Mercury square Black Moon Lilith. We're going to feel that's the only square right now. And so that's powerful because we've had so many squares, but we have 3 sextiles and a trine and a semi-sextile. It's like, so this is moving into the dance, right? We have not had a hard square in the last year without harmonizing transits, and that's so beautiful to see, right? This is about growth and change. You're not trapped in astrology. The planets are actually inside of you. Suspended in magnetism. But that's kind of the energy of that intense square. It's time of squares with Venus square Mars, but it's about moving forward, right? Mars, the warrior for Earth and Virgo, and Venus in Gemini. It's time to sing the song of the feminine again. So it's just so powerful because it's taking the most tension aspect, and it's just magic, and that's what's happening with the Mercury square Black Moon Lilith, because Jupiter is in trine to Black Moon Lilith. Like we said, Saturn trine Jupiter, trine Black Moon Lilith, grand water trine, that's going to be in, let's see, mostly November and December. But we start to feel the Jupiter Saturn in October. And Jupiter, right now, we're feeling Jupiter trine Black Moon Lilith from July through December as well. So it's very powerful that we've got that grand water trine. So Mercury is square Black Moon Lilith, but Jupiter expanding in the sign of Cancer, the nurturing, the mother energy, is saying, it's okay. Mom can harmonize and nurture us through this. We're going to be okay. There's nothing too dark that can't come to the light. There's nothing too sick that can't be healed. Like, we got to face the darkness. We've got to face the truth so we can get to the healing. That's what this energy seems to be saying the whole rest of this year, harmonizing from that square, facing the truth so we can get to the healing chapter. But for us, the healing is like massive abundance, just overflowing love, finally coming back in our hearts. Connect with your physical heart. Seems really important right now, that we can heal the hearts of humanity by just loving and honoring the magic and power of the physical heart, and learn about it, the toroidal fields, chambers, what's going on here. Why is it the last part of our higher machinery, intuitive abilities, to come online? And no wonder it's targeted. So the other thing that's really coming into form right now is that Saturn is at 1 degree of Aries, and Neptune is at 2 degrees of Aries, but Neptune will be moving back to 1 degree in August, turning retrograde, turned retrograde on the 5th. So Saturn and Neptune are just 1 degree apart all the way from the end of May through August, the beginning of August, and then there'll be an exact conjunction for the first week of August, but we'll feel it all the way through September. So we basically have from May through September, Saturn Neptune going back 0, 1, 2, 1, 29, 0, it's like, because it's just really trying to jumpstart the new timeline, right? Back into Pisces, back into Aries, but back into Pisces, because it sounds really scary, because it's like the dark ages, and that last little bit of Pisces this last time was just so intense. But this time, Saturn is going to be in a trine with Jupiter, and Neptune's going to be in a trine with Jupiter, and Black Moon Lilith. It's like, can you handle the goodness? This is what the astrology is saying. Can you handle the goodness? But we're too attached, too stuck, too used to the trauma. And it's okay. It's okay. It's totally understandable. And we've got to really be gentle with ourselves. Like, I feel supernova souls just beating themselves up right now because we're at that threshold place where it's like, I should have done better. I could have done more. I did, da, 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 da. And it's like, stop. You've been through hell and back. You've accomplished it. You're here. We've arrived. And nothing can stop what's coming. So why don't you get yourself prepared? The intensity of the rest of later in the year comes in October, the second part of October and the end of December, when Jupiter in Cancer will be squaring up with Chiron. So we have a precursor to that on July 20th when the sun comes into square with Chiron. So who are we, the sun in Cancer, as nurturing beings, as true human beings, connected to mother that want to love and take care of each other. Who are we in square to where our life force, our power has been stolen and taken away, and misused and abused. So then that is a precursor. That's July 20th. And then in October, we have this Jupiter square Chiron, expanding the nurturing, overcoming the wounds, expand the nurturing, overcoming the wounds. It's like a big heartbeat. And that is often the time when there's a lot of financial changes. The last years we felt it like, is this red October, and so that could be an indication, that intense square where we take back our life force and our power by returning the resources, the money that's been stolen, back to we the people. Now that we have set in place new authority structure, not authoritarian, right? It's egalitarian, but we still need authority. We still need leaders. We still need the ones that can hold the vision, hold the picture, and motivate and move the people in the way we want to go. It's not this bully leadership stuff we've been dealing with, Saturn, the black cube, of like, don't you dare come into your power. If you do, we'll retaliate against you, So it's very, very different. And just understand that the trauma of that, and not having the space and time to process all the trauma we've gone through, and that's been triggering our past life trauma, just understand how difficult this has been with zero support, all alone, isolated, and you've made it through. But please be nice to yourself. Be so gentle and nice to yourself, because you are our precious gem. We need you. You're a part of it. We can't do it without you. This is part of why the supernova souls, the brightest lights, often find themselves in the darkest places. Because maybe we're leveling it up, right? And facing the demons head on, and finding the truth. We got to know it. We're invincible. Nothing ever dies. Energy is energy. And I don't know, maybe that's part of the mysteries that we're bringing forward. So incredibly beautiful astrology, and intense and powerful. And I'm so glad that we're here together. Mostly we're feeling just this Mercury square black moon Lilith kind of nudging us to clear that subconscious stuff that's keeping us from feeling confident and moving into our co-creator status. And we've got these beautiful trines and sextiles forming in the sky, Jupiter and Neptune. So Neptune at the top of that kite, and Saturn coming in and out of it, is in a sextile relationship to Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. And so those sextiles are coming into form. They're loose now, but we've got them. They're just actually Neptune and Pluto will be exact coming up here at 2 degrees, because Pluto is going to go back to 2 degrees, and so will be an exact sextile to Neptune in Aries. It's so powerful because Neptune in Aries is like, we got to dream the new dream. We got to reclaim the miracles and magic. And Saturn right there, it's a new timeline, but we're not going to do it without getting into alignment with our spiritual purpose. And we're spiritual beings. This whole thing is about spiritual evolution, not about attaining items. And so, that's really powerful. But that's what's happening. Just keep in mind the backdrop right? Like we're here in our little mundane struggles trying to make it through the last vestiges of the matrix programming, but behind the scenes, the backdrop, the curtain's been closed. And this is something that's coming through. I'm hearing of really beautiful prophetic dreams, which our dreams have been kind of, feels like messed with that part of our consciousness. So sometimes it's like you can't trust your dreams, but I've heard of really powerful breakthroughs on the dream level, also with guidance, direct communication with very clear guidance. These are the things that are coming to us because of these shifts and changes and this backdrop that's happening. So we got Saturn and Neptune dancing around between Pisces and Aries, rebirth, no, maybe not. Oh, but it's like completely reworking reality. And then we've got that kite forming, lifting up, the kite, the backdrop of the kite, the top part of the kite, those little triangles at the top, those are the sextiles to Neptune and Saturn. Those are all transpersonal planets. They're all big, slow moving planets. So a kite with our big planets and then the planets, our personal planets, completing the kite is so powerful because that's telling us the main message. It's about us. Like we are the instrument. We are the consciousness. We are her body. We are her army. We are the energy. We are the resources. And I guess we better get our act together, huh? If we're going to move into the world and show this. Very incredibly powerful energies here. Especially with that kite happening, most of the time, those planets will be at 1 degree or 0. And so it's just, are we 1? Are we 0? Are we something? Are we nothing? Are we moving are we at that 0 point? And so just keep in mind that whatever drama is working itself out here as we untangle and get rid of these loose strings of the old trauma timelines and reintegrate and level up. We integrate trauma, we level up all of humanity into a better timeline. Thank you. And so the backdrop is supporting us, right? It's like we've got Uranus coming into trine with Pluto, air trine, both in sextile to Saturn and Neptune, dancing the dance of creating a whole new reality. It's so beautiful. So just know that, like, the astrology is absolutely confirming what we've been working on and for so long. And what if the only thing that's keeping us from stepping into this most amazing golden age future is whether or not we feel we deserve it? And so that's why we've been getting our ass kicked. Because think about it. If at the beginning of 2018, or the year 2018, and Uranus moving into Taurus, and the message is that humanity, you're living in scarcity and poverty, but you're abundant. And the way forward in the Aquarian Age is going to be a manifestation of that. So the only thing stopping us from moving into the Aquarian Age is our lack of worthiness for our own abundance, our poverty, scarcity constructs. So Uranus coming to the end of Taurus would say, okay, now it's a different chapter. And are we prepared? And was humanity prepared through this fiasco, this modern medical fiasco where, there's a lot of loss of life and injury. And we just have to trust and know. I mean, we know SuperNovas that we're here. We tried to leave. Who's going to be here is here, and nobody ever dies. Whatever level they're here to experience this, it's going to be okay on a soul level. Souls are being freed from the astral plane, freed from the earth in where they've been trapped, and it's just glorious. So we got to stay in the energy of that. and stepping into this and knowing, so the injury stuff that's been inflicted upon people, the stealing of our money, which we're going to have the truth of that, like for very horrible, horrible things, and the infiltration into our energy body by medical professionals without our consent, and the poisoning us with DNA altering materials. These are grave, grave wrongs. And if we do not get correction, we cannot move forward. We will become robots. We will be exterminated. Except for that's not what we're here for, right? We're here to overcome. And we already have. You, through who you are, has overcome a massive agenda against you to try to exterminate you. And you're still here. And you are hassling. Now we are harassing them. Our existence is harassing them, their system. And the only reason they're still coming after us is because they have to. And they have to use all of their last resources on us, biggest troublemakers for their matrix system. So just hang in there. But it's so powerful, what we're doing and what we've done, and the beautiful future that lies ahead. We've got to just own this in our field right now. And maybe that's part of the preparation too. And knowing that, like, if you've been injured, say humanity, like has been, then they're going to feel worthy. If their money was deliberately stolen and used for dark things, they're going to feel worthy of it coming back. They're going to be able to handle the wealth. They're going to be able to feel that. And so this for us supernova souls, because we are the keepers of the abundance of the resources of Earth. And so we need to be ready for massive abundance, because we're the 1%, the ones that can disseminate back the wealth, the trustworthy, pure, and beautiful souls. I love you so much. And so, like, we have to be prepared for massive abundance. So we had to be very injured. Are you ready to step out of this story? My goodness. And keep moving. Don't stop unless you're in the stillness of how good it feels to just exist. And maybe you could ask Mother that, if you have that time to sit in your meditation, take some deep breaths and say, what does it feel? Tell me. I want to experience what you're saying, like, what does it feel like to feel good just to exist, because of just existing, not because something's working out, or you've been freed from this, or you got the money you were looking for, or you paid your bill, or you got your, like the right apartment or whatever. Like, no, none of that's going to satisfy us. We've just been kept in that rat race of scarcity and survival and poverty to think, put all our energy there. But we are so, so abundant. And thank you for being a vessel, a carrier of this. It's been a huge burden, and yet it's such a beautiful gift for humanity. And we might have to feel a little bit better about ourselves before we can really be able to give on that level. And so take this time for deep soul healing. Put yourself back together, those pieces landing home, unwinding the trauma, remembering that trauma can be there if you're still scared of your own power. So her message again, if you're fully and completely ready on all levels, prepared and ready to step into the expression of your full abundance, you're free. So keep up the great work, and may it be great work. Like, so great, so fun. That's what it needs to be. She says we've got to drop our attachment to the struggle. It's part of why this has to just bubble up and unwind and get all weird, because we're literally, like we said last week, putting together a fabric of new reality, pulling apart reality into threads, getting out the broken, rotting, and putting back together the fabric of reality according to her original image. It's so beautiful. And that's a beautiful prayer too for our bodies. It's just simple meditation, and it absolutely in alignment with the goodness, the good feeling, the feeling good in existence. is to do that. Ask her what it feels like to feel good, to be in her energy, to be in her heart. We have never seen a picture before, a physical picture in a location, a confirmation, not an actual location. I don't know where on the earth, but she has a heart. I was so excited about that. I mean, we knew this because we were coming into heart resonance when we come into heart frequency resonance with her. But if we could literally find and connect with her heart, I mean, game over for the dark side, right? So thank you so much for being you and doing this work and not giving up and showing up again and again, no matter even those people pushed you down. And then maybe, kind of get ready for the feeling of like all those people who pushed you down, holding you up, or at least the energies that were behind them, now wanting to help you genuinely, not for some personal agenda. See, everybody's come at you has wanted some personal agenda. It's like, no, they want to actually not work against you, not knock you down, but lift you up and hold you up for the good of all, for the celebration and the joy of what can be. Supernovas doing this for each other, this beautiful blooming. So thank you so much. And I hope that I will see you at the Capricorn Full Moon activation, really powerful contract clearing around authority and getting the marching orders of what we are going to be working on over the next couple of weeks with the Mercury retrograde. Like, okay, it's kind of like, okay, now I can separate the false authority messages within me and the true authority messages within me. It's almost like father and mother, right? The condemning part of the false father God, and then the loving mother trying to come home and be nurtured again. And maybe that's the beautiful mystery of what's happening within us as we resolve the power struggle between the masculine and feminine and achieve victory of the light through perfectly equal power. It's such a beautiful image. And how's that feel in your heart? Because apparently that we can't really come into our heart consciousness until we balance our masculine and feminine energies. Mercury retrograde in Leo, massive earth, heart chakra, and our heart chakra activation. So the love can just flood in. And then we don't have time to be scared of our own power. We just can't put any energy into that. We're too busy building the new and having so much fun and feeling worthy of it, right? Like, no, I deserve this because I went through hell and back. Yeah, I'm going to take it and give it out. Because us taking it and receiving it is just overflowing to humanity. And I think we're the vessel. So if you think so too, if this resonates, just hold space in your heart, in the heart of the mother, for your role in this. And more and more, the cream rising to the top, there's not so many of us that, and just maybe we can help each other in this new level of preparation that's being required. Like now we survived. We're still processing what we've had to go through to survive, but now we got to take it up a notch to thrive so we can be that vessel of abundance and that overflowing cup of love, of the mother's love, wherever we go. And healing just happens. And this is the deep grief of this time with Jupiter in Cancer and the Sun in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, and we are feeling a lot of grief over those of us in our psyche who understand what's happened to humanity and can't do anything about it. And we are just sitting here in the rubble, having to watch the destruction of our beautiful, sacred physical form that we spent lifetimes and eons perfecting. And so it's really a lot to carry, but it's not your burden to carry anymore. We've got to move into the lightness of being. And yet we know we're processing collective grief for how intense, the daily damage that we have to see and experience around us and the pain. The worst is just this, how many people are in pain, how many people are sick, and there's solutions. And we've just been, I don't know. I think it was back in that 2018 time when there was like random mysterious deaths of 100 naturopaths, all working on cancer cures, right? And it's like we have been massively deterred, and it's like so frustrating because it's so simple. And that's the thing with this like nanotech interference. It's about disordering your DNA, your body's way of generating and regenerating. And so it's really frustrating to have these skills, miracle healing skills, and then have this just sci-fi disorder that's just so frustrating, and it's just all the natural, it's only natural cures that help it, detox and natural supplements, but it's hard because it's a field of energy. It's like this materialistic, impossible. Do you know this energy? People right now, there's a lot of people acting this out, just stubborn as all, just you can't even talk about anything, and it's just like so righteous and so impossible, and just and so that stuck hard material can't change my way of thinking, angry, frustrated, mad at everybody all the time. That's the energy of the nano, right? And so thank you for your being present in your life and your detox and your detoxing of the whole earth. You are a miracle worker. And I think that this also has to come to light, the disclosure of the incredible miracles that supernova souls have been a part of to free the earth at this time. So celebrate and love and face it and go through it and breathe and know that it's preparation for massive abundance. And I'm so excited to meet you on the other side there and come together and work on these projects. Like we have so written this already. Like we've worked this out in past lives. Like we have our groups, we are people, but it's so crazy because we're all so isolated. And it's just, so the biggest threat is supernova souls getting together and joining their power. And once we can own it enough, we can just do it, right? You just step into it and have full permission. Like this is what's saying, the gates are going down. It's up to you whether you can claim full permission and just step up and step forward. And yeah, there might be a roundabout, and there might be harassment, and there might be this and obstacles in that, but you just keep moving and you just keep going because the victory is inevitable. And here we are. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And being a part of the Soul Group membership gets you into the activations at $20 a month. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support in doing that. Coming to the activations, I also have online course, that Owning Your Energetic Field course, about to launch. Get it on my website, Goddess Activation, Divine Feminine Activation for women and men, creative activation, very, very powerful, all designed to understand the power of our energy field and our higher intuitive faculties. And so also, thank you so much. If you'd like to give a donation, there's the links to donate in the donation box below. I also have a very limited number of individual sessions, intuitive astrology sessions, intuitive healing sessions, and there's more information about those on my website. So thank you so much for being here, for your support, for being a supernova soul. The best support you've given me is your energetic, like watching these videos, being present with the messages. Wow. It's so crazy that how connected we are and working together, and yet how isolated in person, and we know this is going to reconcile too. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support. I look forward to hopefully seeing you Thursday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, July 10th, for the Capricorn Full Moon activation or the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.